Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is the Quran Reloaded.
We're not kidding. For real, though. This is the
Yeah.
Quran Reloaded. Now you guys can stop being, I'm just curious, when's the Quran coming out? Or, alternatively, you're just pussies. You'll never do the Quran Reloaded. You can't see this, but I'm like fake typing a comment with my hands.
Yeah,
That's you guys.
Really, though, it did take a long time. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do it. We're looking for a theme song. We actually at one point found a theme song that was almost perfect. We asked for some revisions, and we have yet to hear back. So I don't know if that's ever going to materialize. By the way, we still need a correct theme song. We did alter this one at the end a bit for this. But still, we need a Quran Reloaded theme song. So feel free to do that if you're competent in music skills.
So there's a few things that we have to go through real quick before we do the Quran itself, because not a lot of people, including ourselves, are terribly familiar with what that means. The Quran is not like the Bible. It is, but it isn't. And it's very weird to kind of think of it, because the Bible is everything. It's start to finish. It's the whole religion. The Quran is only a main, like the central hub of the religion as far as holy texts are concerned. And on top of that, it assumes that you are familiar with the Jewish and the Christian texts, like the major narratives, like Adam and Eve, Noah, all that stuff, Jesus, except not the divinity of Jesus necessarily, but his status as a prophet. So if you haven't seen our Bible study, if this is your first thing ever, it's probably important before you get really deep into the Quran to go to our Bible study and get some of the main points. Even though we're not like this serious breakdown, it's a comedy show, we get it, but you're still going to want to know a lot of the stuff that we're talking about.
Early on, they reference like the whole Adam and Eve story. Very briefly. I mean, they talk about it more, and they sprinkle stuff all throughout the whole book, but early on, they're referencing things, and obviously, pop culturally speaking, you know Adam and Eve, but I'm just saying, that's
you
one
don't know
thing.
It the way we went through it, or the way that they know it. Also, additionally, there's a thing called hadith, or things called hadith, and these are basically things that the Prophet Muhammad had said concerning a smattering of different issues. And those are considered holy texts that you use to supplement the stuff in the Quran, or it's how they get Sharia, actually, as they work with the Quran and the Hadith, and then the people authenticate them, basically, like clerics and stuff. And they have different levels to which a Hadith is legitimate, all the way from authentic to not, which is weak. And then some groups like use them and some don't. Like Sunni Shia, their main contention is the differences in Hadith. And then like Quranists reject them outright. So we're not going to touch the Hadith, really. We might reference it from time to time, but it's kind of like when we reference the King James and the Bible Reloaded. While the wording may be different and you might need stuff to supplement it, sometimes we'll add that. But this is not the Hadith Reloaded. This is the Quran Reloaded. So we're not going to do that. And I know that if you're a Muslim and you came here to bitch at us, you're going to be like, well, you're not getting the whole story, blah, blah, blah. You're correct. But your religion's still incorrect. So that's fine. Like, we're just going to trudge through the Quran.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough trudge. It's kind of like that depression swamp from Neverending Story 1 that the horse sunk into because apparently the horse needed Xanax. It's like that, but more brown people. Actually, no, there was a brown person there. That it was an Indian.
His name he was a brown person. Yeah, Atreyu.
Yeah. Atreyu!
Ooh! Also a shitty band.
Also, briefly, before we get this complaint, and then I swear we will begin, because I know this is sort of a big intro, but it kind of needs to be.
It does.
There are Muslims, many of which argue that you can't really get the true spirit of the Quran unless you read it in the original Arabic. And I'll give the Quran this. I'll give it this. As opposed to the Bible, which has had about 1 million different translations and it's been messed with a lot, the original Arabic is pretty close to how it originally was. However, I would also say, if it is a holy book, and I've said this about the Bible too, if it is actually holy, as long as it's translated relatively competently, that should still carry over. And if it doesn't, then maybe it's just a fucking book.
I'd like to point out that Shia Muslims, you spell your name like Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. So from now on, every time I hear Sunni versus Shia, I'm going to assume that it's a bunch of Muslims fighting single-handedly Shia LaBeouf.
So, with all that out of the way, here we go. In the Quran, the first surah, The opening. By the way, instead of chapters, they're called surahs. I'll try and call them surahs, but I guarantee at some point I'm going to fall into calling them chapters. But just so you know, the accurate term is surah. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful. By the way, of course, in the original it would be Allah, not God. Allah being the Arabic name for God. Because being translated to English, it is just God. But Allah, you get it.
Moving forward, if we did it means this in Arabic, or they would say this in Arabic, we would sit here forever on one verse. So we're not going to do that terribly.
Praise be to God, Lord of the worlds, the most gracious, the most merciful. That's good, at least they're starting with merciful. They're about to undo that entirely, and the image is going to go back to sort of the Old Testament bullshit angry God, but at the very least, they put their best foot forward.
Also, Lord of the worlds, which means that if Islam is one thing, it's planetary inclusionary, so it's not just Earth, it's also probably Pluto. I mean, the Quran seems like they would vote for Pluto.
It says worlds, not dwarf worlds. Neil deGrasse Tyson explicitly left Pluto out so they couldn't be included in Islam. Fact. Master of the Day of Judgment. See, now they've backpedaled a little bit. Master of the Day of Judgment. Well, a cool title is a little bit domineering.
It's a tiny bit. It kind of sounds like he's in, Allah is kind of in leather, like a leather suit with like a zipper mouth.
Oh, I could see that. Well, no, because isn't that what the sub does? He's more of a dom, so he'd be the one who's whipping the person in the zipper suit.
Like he's a switch. It's fine.
It is you we worship, and upon you we call for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those you have blessed, not of those against whom there is anger, nor of those who are misguided. So that's the opening, and it's called The Opening, literally. If you had like a cover letter, that's what this is. That's the Quran's mission statement. I'd also like to think they made it up and did a lot of Googling on resume sites like I do. But I don't know, I think mine sounds a little more professional. Mine at least includes worked at fast food restaurant for 3 years. The Quran doesn't even have that. As far as I know, this is just a dirty desert man.
It seems like maybe, like, I know this was like their mission statement, like their first paragraph or whatever, but aren't you supposed to get an attention getter at the beginning? Like a quote from someone, like Shakespeare?
What would Shakespeare say about the Quran?
Like, probably one of those vaguely racist things he said about brown people. So that's going to be it for the Quran Reloaded on the Bible Reloaded channel. However, click right here or look in the description box and subscribe over to the Quran Reloaded channel and go visit the rest of this video, because we are going to do additional portions of this, but we kind of want to keep them separate, but how else will we let you know? So we'll be plugging this from time to time, but if you want to see the rest of this episode now, go click in the clickety-clack and press buttons and like touch screens and I don't know what else, PayPal? I don't know what you kids use.
PayPal?
I don't know.
They're going to click PayPal to go to the other video?
Use the Tinder button.
If you want to finish this video, go click on the video.
Have a grinder. I assume Grindr sends you sandwiches.